7 shocking CIA covert ops that changed history. Coups, assassinations, and secret wars. These are the CIA's most daring operations. We uncover 7 missions that changed history. From toppling governments to crafting betrayal-filled alliances, the world as we know it was shaped in the shadows. Let's dive in. The CIA's operations read like a thriller, but they're as real as it gets. Today we're diving into 7 of the most daring missions, including controversial overthrows that changed the world forever. Codename Operation AJAX. Objective: overthrow Iran's Prime Minister Mohammad Mossadegh to protect Western oil interests and prevent Soviet influence. What happens when a world leader threatens the oil supply of powerful nations? How do you topple a government without a military invasion? For the CIA, the answer was brilliant and clear. Stage a coup and make it look like a revolution. In 1951, Mossadegh nationalized Iran's oil, severing British control. The stakes were immense: control of one of the largest oil reserves on Earth. The mission required bribing Iranian officials, spreading propaganda, and inciting chaos, all while ensuring plausible deniability and blocking Soviet expansion in the region. The CIA funded anti-Mossadegh protests, orchestrating clashes in the streets of Tehran. Key military leaders were secretly persuaded to abandon Mossadegh. Within weeks, the Shah of Iran returned to power, securing Western oil interests. Operation AJAX reshaped the Middle East, but it also fueled resentment against the West, contributing to the Iranian Revolution in 1979, a backlash still felt today. Codename Operation Northwoods, a controversial plan within U.S. borders and against U.S. citizens. Objective: justify a U.S. military invasion of Cuba by staging false flag attacks on American soil. What if I told you the CIA once proposed faking terrorist attacks on American soil to start a war? This isn't a conspiracy theory, it's Operation Northwoods, a plan so shocking it was buried in secrecy for decades. The early 1960s saw tensions boiling over between the US and Cuba. Fidel Castro's communist regime was seen as a direct threat to American interests, especially with the looming shadow of Soviet influence. But instead of direct military action, the CIA and the Pentagon devised a chilling plan: fabricate attacks on American citizens to rally public support for an invasion of Cuba. The plan: stage a series of fake terrorist acts, hijacking commercial planes and blaming it on Cuba, bombing American cities and pinning the attacks on Cuban operatives, faking an attack on a U.S. Navy ship, similar to the Gulf of Tonkin incident. The goal: to convince the American public that Cuba posed an imminent threat, justifying an all-out invasion. How about blowing up a U.S. drone aircraft and claiming it was a passenger plane shot down by Cuba? Another plan proposed sinking Cuban refugees en route to Florida and blaming Castro's regime. The plan was drafted by the Joint Chiefs of Staff and presented to President John F. Kennedy, who flatly rejected it, reportedly appalled by the level of deception involved. Operation Northwoods never went into action. This could have become one of the darkest chapters in U.S. history. Codename Project Azorian. Raising a Soviet submarine from the bottom of the ocean to study Soviet submarine technology. Objective: recover nuclear warheads and intelligence from a sunken Soviet submarine. When a Soviet submarine sank with its nuclear secrets, the CIA turned to one of the most ambitious covert recovery missions in history. The sub rested 3 miles below the Pacific Ocean, and the CIA had to retrieve it without Soviet detection. Using billionaire Howard Hughes as a cover, they built the Glomar Explorer, a ship capable of lifting the sub from the ocean floor. As the ship's claw-like recovery system gripped the sub, part of it broke off and remained underwater. Despite the partial recovery, the mission provided valuable intel on Soviet nuclear technology. Project Azorian showcased the lengths the CIA would go to outsmart its adversaries, combining engineering marvels with spycraft brilliance. Codename Operation Cyclone. Arming the Mujahideen objective: support Afghan fighters in resisting the Soviet invasion. What happens when today's ally becomes tomorrow's enemy, or was it yesterday's ally becomes today's enemy, after wasting billions of dollars? Operation Cyclone might just be the most controversial and expensive mission in CIA history. Of course, the CIA's budget is highly confidential and never disclosed. The CIA funneled billions into arming Afghan fighters, providing advanced weaponry like Stinger missiles. Covert supply lines stretched across borders, with the operation relying on delicate alliances with Pakistan and Saudi Arabia. The Mujahideen's resistance led to the Soviet withdrawal in 1989, marking a Cold War victory for the United States. However, some factions later evolved into extremist groups, including the Taliban. While Operation Cyclone was a tactical success, it sowed the seeds for future conflicts in the region, highlighting the unintended consequences of intervention. Codename Operation Neptune Spear. Objective: eliminate the mastermind behind 9/11 and bring justice to victims of terror. How do you find the most wanted man in the world when he's hiding in plain sight? The answer lies in years of relentless CIA intelligence work. Pinpointing bin Laden's location involved piecing together fragments of intelligence from detainees and intercepted communications. The CIA even used a fake vaccination campaign to confirm DNA samples from bin Laden's compound. On May 2, 2011, Navy SEALs armed with CIA intelligence stormed the compound in Abbottabad, Pakistan. The mission lasted 40 minutes, ending with bin Laden's death. This mission was a turning point in the war on terror, demonstrating the CIA's persistence and precision in achieving justice for a global tragedy. Codename Operation AJAX. Objective: prevent nuclear war by exposing Soviet missile sites in Cuba. What do you do when the world is on the brink of destruction? For the CIA, the answer was clear. Find the missiles before it's too late. U-2 spy planes risked being shot down as they captured high-resolution images of missile sites in Cuba. Analysts worked around the clock to verify the intelligence and present it to United States leaders. The intel allowed President Kennedy to confront Khrushchev, resulting in a deal to remove Soviet missiles. Advanced U-2 cameras captured details from 70,000 feet, spotting launch sites with pinpoint accuracy. This intelligence operation arguably saved millions of lives, proving the critical role of timely and precise espionage in global peacekeeping. From coups to manhunts, assassinations, and government overthrows, the CIA's operations are filled with intrigue, controversy, and lasting consequences. But with every success comes a price. Which mission shocked you the most? Let us know in the comments, and if you want more incredible stories from the shadow world of espionage, don't forget to hit the like button, share, and subscribe.